Hey guys, welcome to another episode of LJ's Garage. Hopefully this is my last Jeep episode for a while. For the last 4 years, I've had this 2014 Jeep Grand Cherokee Overland, and I absolutely love this thing. But for some reason, it doesn't seem to love me quite the same. And due to that, I've had to spend lots and lots of money in order to keep this thing running. But now I've got some numbers and some receipts and my scribbles because I want to know how much this thing has actually cost me over the last 4 years of ownership. So, to avoid any sort of clickbait or anything like that, I'm just going to go straight to it. So, the first number that I want to point out is the total cost if I had done everything at the dealership. That would have been $18,091, plus the cost of the Jeep, which was $20,000 out the door price. I paid significantly less because I did a lot of the work myself and got some discounts for all sorts of other things. So $7,220 is what I've paid so far for this. That's my total price. However, because I still have two outstanding things, the power steering rack and the engine mounts, that's going to, of course, go up if I do fix those things. But right now, $7,220 is the number you're looking for my 4-year cost of ownership, and then $18,000 if I had done everything at a mechanic or the dealership. And let's get started. Okay, so let's start off with the price that I paid for this. I bought this in 2020, right around August timeframe, something like that. It was listed for $20,989. See the original listing right here. Shout out to Jermaine Lexus. Great experience, awesome. And if you guys don't know, I had that car delivered and everything. They took care of me. So out the door price though was $20,000 for everything, license, taxes, fees, whatever else that they throw on there. So yeah, not bad. I think I got a fair deal. It was at 75,000 miles. So I'm going to go through this with the mileage, and then I'm going to talk about what it was that was replaced, my cost, the dealership cost, and then at the end I'll give you the breakdown of how all of this worked out. So starting with 82,000 miles, bought the car, all those good things, drove it for a few thousand miles, and the front rotors needed to be replaced. Dealership took care of that. That was awesome. The next thing, 90,000 miles, I needed to get my thermostat replaced. Took care of that. It was a $50-$60 part, something along those lines. And then with some of the coolant and all that stuff, the hoses, I think I may have changed out another $100. And during that time, I also found out a little bit later, let's say about 100,000 miles. I took it down to Florida, came back from a trip, and condenser, radiator, oil cooler housing, all of those had to be replaced. I needed brake pads, rotors, yet again. So from 82,000 miles to 100,000 miles, somehow my rotors needed replacing again. And I I don't know, something is off with that, but either way, maybe it was just the quality of the pads that the dealership used, or the quality of the rotors, I should say. And that's what, or maybe they just resurfaced them and then put on my paperwork that they replaced them. I don't know for sure, but that's a whole nother conspiracy. But let's move on to the next thing. The dealership quoted me $5,500 to do all of that. So oil cooler, AC condenser, radiator, front and rear brake pads and rotors, $5,500. Not a bad price really when you think about all the work that's going into that. I decided I could do it for cheaper. Condenser, radiator, and some of the extra stuff that goes along with it, about $350 for the condenser and radiator, and then $100 worth of like miscellaneous things, and maybe closer to 150. So I did that. Oil cooler housing, common issue. It takes about a weekend's worth of work. I did it for $60 and then a little bit of extra parts and stuff like that. At that same time, I did do my spark plugs, which if you call Jeep and ask for that, that's another $1,200. I forgot the spark plugs on here. So I'm going to add that in really quick. So my numbers are quite off. So I'm going to add 1,200 for spark plugs. So we get to 110,000 miles, needed a new O2 sensor. Decided I didn't want to do that one because it requires removing the drive shaft. The dealership, $650. I was like, they offered pickup, delivery, all that stuff. So they picked it up on a day I was working from home, dropped it off. It was replaced. It was fixed. Good to go. So I didn't think 650 was too bad. So anyways, that's 110,000 miles, O2 sensor, 650. Probably could have done that for significantly less, but again, not that big of a deal. Then we get to 119,000 miles. You remember that oil cooler that I replaced at about 90 to 100,000 miles? Well, I'm at 120,000 and it needed another one. So that started leaking again. Dealership charged me $1,200 to do that. I was like, I'm not doing it again. So that was that. At 120,000 miles, battery. $250 for a battery. Took 15-20 minutes worth of work to change it out. Dealership probably charged about $400 for a battery replacement. Then we get to 131,000 miles, and I did all my 4x4 servicing. So I did my transfer case, front and rear diff, oil change, and alignment. All of that came to $590 at the dealership. I thought that was a pretty good deal, honestly. You could do the fluids on most of this stuff for probably 100 to 200 bucks. So the time, the recycling, all that stuff that was involved in it, I just hate dealing with fluids. You can take that however you want, sickos. But then we go to 135,000 miles, and this is the big one. Rocker arms are loose. Another oil change, gaskets, seals, everything that is not reusable was replaced. $3,600. And that's everything that I can think of that I have receipts for that I can remember. So, yeah. And I'm just and just to show you guys a couple of the receipts, you guys can see the price down there. Just want to make sure that you guys know that LJ is not fudging with you. You can see that there. And you guys can also see this is the dealership. These guys are pretty cool for what it is. Never really had any terrible and, bad stories with them. And even when I looked at the Carfax for this and all the service records that it came with, it didn't need anything. I mean, that was up to 70,000 miles. Basically, this thing was problem-free. I know at 40,000 miles, it needed a module for the transmission replaced. I can't remember the exact name of it. I don't have that written down. But it had that replaced to help with smoother shifts. And other than that, I mean, I took it to the dealership. They said it is what it is. It's just a Jeep thing. It shifts kind of goofy, but only when it's cold, and that's only from first to second gear. And sometimes if you're in eco mode on the highway and you get a little spirited, then it sometimes gets a little lost in knowing which exact gear you need to be in. So it does this weird little downshift, tries to find the right one, downshift 2 times. It does that. And so I think the 8-speed is fantastic. I think Jeep just tried to do way too much with putting maps on here. So when you drive it in sport mode, none of those things happen. When you drive it in eco mode, a ton of those things happen. It makes the throttle all squishy, and I don't really like it, but I know that it does actually seem to make a difference for my gas mileage. So I kind of deal with it. On top of that, I still have 2 remaining repairs that need addressing. One is a power steering leak, and Jeep recommends replacing the whole power steering rack. Altogether, $3,600 yet again. I'm not paying it. So right now, I probably put power steering fluid in once a year. It's fine, whatever. Then on top of that, I need new engine mounts. $951. I don't know about you guys, but that's insane. So if I had gotten a warranty, that would have been tremendous. It would have paid for itself about 3 times over. Average warranty on these at the time was about $3,000, I'd say. And I would have been able to cover this probably to 150,000 miles. But I'm at 135,000 miles. And I've doubled what I bought it with. And so far, I've really enjoyed it. It's been great on all the adventures I've taken it on. And I would love to do more with it. But right now, this thing requires a lot of maintenance. And I know every time I say that, people are like, this isn't maintenance, this is repairs and stuff like that. That's absolutely right. So let's talk about maintenance. Oil changes, I do full synthetic, and I usually just go to Valvoline. This thing uses 6 quarts. I don't really, by the time you get 6 quarts of oil, that's like $60, somewhere in there. Well, 40 to 50, but, it's still a good bit of price already. So for me, $30, I'm paying $90 at Valvoline. The dealership charges about $70, and I don't like doing oil changes. I've done enough of them in my life, and I have 3 cars right now. It is what it is. So, however you want to do that, you can save money doing your own oil changes. This thing has 20-inch wheels. They cost about $800, and I just keep the factory ones. I like the Goodyear Forteras that are on there. So, eventually, I want to get something a little bit more notchy and beefy. But for now, those last about 60,000 miles. So, I've only ever put one set of tires on this. And then pads and rotors, the dealership charges $600 per axle. I got parts and everything for about 321 on Rock Auto, and it took me about 3 hours. So all that said, I mean, the other thing is just oil. It's a big tank, a 24, 26-gallon tank, and 14 city, 21 highway is what I'm averaging. And then on top of that, for insurance, I mean, everyone's differs, but for Ohio, I'm paying about $600 a year for this somewhere, I think. I don't remember. Somewhere in there. And it uses regular gas, so that's at least one good thing about this. So yeah, it's not all the numbers. It's not every single thing. But that's, in a nutshell, what it costs to keep this thing for 4 years for me. So at some point, there's going to come a time where I have to decide that it's just enough. But one thing I don't want to do is hand this off to someone else and have them take on a hell of a project or repair, because I don't really know what life, people are living. But I would hate to give someone this with the tick, and then the rocker arms break, they lose the engine, and they can't afford that. Now they're stuck with a paperweight. So I just think, what would I want someone to do for me? So if anybody does want a Grand Cherokee, this one will probably be for sale soon. That's all I got for you guys. I hope that this helped some of you that are car shopping. And if any of you got this as a Christmas gift, just make sure you consider getting that warranty, or make sure you find a mechanic you trust. Otherwise, this gets expensive really, really fast. I'm sure people know that with cars, but specifically, I hear a lot of people say they love Jeep, swear by it, and they don't talk about all the stuff about owning it because they have warranties or whatnot. But yeah, I'll talk about the other new generation of the Grand Cherokee in the next video. But for this Grand Cherokee, the WK2, the 2014 to 2021, this is what it's like. If you're new to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys learned something. I hope this was of some value. And if you need any receipts for things, let me know. Like I said, I've got them all. They have my name and all this other stuff on them, so I can't show you all the details, but I can show you a lot of things, you know. Thanks for watching. I'm hanging in there, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hopefully you had a great holiday season, and until then, peace.